Have you ever wondered how a child, barely old enough to understand the world, could change the course of history? What if we told you that some of the most significant moments in history were sparked by children who dared to stand up, speak out, or lead armies? Jeanne d'Arc, 1412 and 1431. At just 17 years old, Jeanne d'Arc led the French army to several key victories during the 100 Years' War, altering the course of the conflict. She claimed divine guidance and convinced the French crown to allow her to lead troops, notably lifting the siege of Orléans. Her efforts eventually paved the way for Charles VII's coronation. Tragically, Jeanne was captured by the English and executed at 19, but she remains a symbol of French national pride and courage. Anne Frank, 1929 to 1945. During the Nazi occupation, Anne Frank, a Jewish girl, spent 2 years hiding with her family in a secret annex. At the age of 13, she began writing a diary that documented her experiences. Her diary has since become one of the most profound accounts of the Holocaust. Anne's words provided the world with a deeply personal perspective on the atrocities of war and persecution, forever marking her as a symbol of resilience and hope. Nkosi Johnson, 1989 to 2001. Nkosi Johnson was born HIV positive in South Africa and became a powerful voice for those living with HIV/AIDS. Despite his young age, he spoke at international conferences, advocating for the rights of HIV-positive individuals, particularly children. His heartfelt speeches helped to destigmatize the disease and raised global awareness, making Nkosi a symbol of courage and activism in the fight against AIDS. Iqbal Masih, 1983 to 1995. Iqbal Masih, a Pakistani child, was sold into bonded labor at the age of 4 but managed to escape by the time he was 10. After his escape, Iqbal became an outspoken activist against child labor. His courage in speaking out against child slavery, even at such a young age, inspired international movements to combat child exploitation. Tragically, he was murdered at 12, but his legacy lives on in the global fight against child labor. Malala Yousafzai, 1997. Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani girl, became a global symbol of the fight for girls' education. At 15, she was shot in the head by the Taliban for advocating education for girls in her region. Surviving the attack, Malala continued her activism on the international stage, eventually becoming the youngest ever Nobel Peace Prize laureate at 17. She remains a tireless advocate for education and women's rights worldwide. Samantha Smith, 1972-1985. Samantha Smith became a symbol of peace during the Cold War when, at 10 years old, she wrote a letter to Soviet leader Yuri Andropov, expressing her fears about nuclear war. Andropov responded, inviting Samantha to visit the Soviet Union as a peace ambassador. Her visit received global attention and demonstrated the power of diplomacy, even from the youngest voices. These children made a lasting impact on history through their courage and actions, leaving behind legacies that continue to inspire people around the world. Despite their young age, they shaped the world in profound ways and became symbols of hope, resilience, and change.